Hey guys, Bladesofgod here from Hammer Bros Gaming, coming at you with the newest video in our Gears Tactics Immortal Legion Achievement Guide series. This video is going to be covering Act 2 for the main mission. Our previous video covered the side missions for it. And in this mission, we are actually going to be introduced to a new enemy. We're going to be introduced to the Kantus. The Kantus is the healing enemy, or the healing unit of all of the Locusts. If you've played any of the original Gears games, you know that the Kantus has regenerative abilities. And the same thing holds true in Gears Tactics. If you damage an enemy, then the Kantus is going to run up, and on its turn, it's going to use a scream attack that heals the allied, or its allied units that are downed. It'll revive the downed units, heal the injured units, and any of the enemies that are within its radius, its area of effect, are actually going to get a 70% defense boost. So these things are going to be a real pain. They really do affect your gameplay strategies and tactics. The ideal method of dealing with them is to take them off the board first, preferably using a sniper, but sometimes if you don't have a sniper in your group, that can be obviously challenging. So we're going to go over our first encounter with a Kantus in this video, show you how we deal with it, and take it from there. If you find this video helpful, if you find this video series helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel, Hammer Bros Gaming. We're going to have a lot more videos like this coming down the line, so hope you stick around for those. We'd love for you to join onto the team, become a Hammer Bro, join Hammer Nation. Thank you guys again so much for your support. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. But that's enough out of me. Let's get right into the guide. Okay, so first things first, let's take a look at Sid's skill tree. We got Rage Shot, Recharging Bayonet, Free Bayonet, Enraged Bayonet, Executioner, Intimidate, and Regeneration. Looking at Sid's weapon, his Retro Lancer has that nice 10% crit sleek stock that we picked up. He has a Precision Mag for a 7% accuracy bonus, Digital Scope for plus 75% crit damage, and a Power Barrel for 30 damage. We've upgraded his Snub Pistol, he has frag grenades, he's got a helmet that's running Trooper Helmet with 10% health and the Hardened skill, and then we're still running his Veteran Armor and his Veteran Legs. Just so you know, the reason that we're looking at Sid for his stuff is because both Gabe and Michaela are both banned from this mission. So we're going to be running 3 of our recruits. We're going to be running Edward, who is a support class, and he has Surge, High Powered Shot 2, Distracting Fire, Weak Point, Empower, and Command for skills. Very useful. It was a nice pickup, a nice acquisition of a recruit. Looking at his weapon, he's got the Sleek Stock, he's got the Expert Mag, he has a Precision Scope, and he's going to have the Power Barrel for 15 additional damage. Moving on, he has no helmet because we don't have any additional helmet to give him, so he's not going to be wearing a helmet. The pistol has been upgraded. He's got Ranger Kit for Blitz and Evasion, and his legs are going to be, his leg armor, I guess, has Delta Straps for 20 health, and the Cadet Shins for Sleek. And then we're going to be running Marcella, who is our scout. She's our explosive scout. We've got Extended Cloak, Proximity Mine, Free Cloak, Stalker, Sprint, and Cloak. Looking at her Nasher, we have the Impact Grip for 10 damage and Disrupt, Stable Handle for Focus, Precision Sights for 3% accuracy, and Power Barrel for 15 damage. Her sniper has also been upgraded. Her snub has also been upgraded. She's running the frags with plus 75% damage. The Trooper Helmet with 10% health and the Hardened skill. She has the UIR Regulator with the Grenadier skill and 20 health, and she has the Ranger Treads for plus 1 movement and plus 7 evasion. She's going to be our primary grenade user, so that's why she gets the increased grenade damage and the UIR Regulator, because scouts have a skill to increase their grenades, so we're going to be building off of that for her. We're going to also be taking a sniper into this map, but unfortunately our primary sniper, Michaela, is banned. So we're going to run, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, Damiano? We're just going to call him Mad Dog. We're going to run Mad Dog, who has Precision Shot 2, Bullseye 1, Weak Spot, and Sharpshooter for skills. So, not the build I usually like to run, but we need a sniper, and he's going to be our sniper. So for his long shot, he's got the Padded Stock, Sleek Bolt, Precision Scope, Wrapped Barrel. So not quite as nice as Michaela's setup, but it'll still do the job. He's got the upgraded snub, running frag grenades, no helmet. He's got the Onyx Shell for All Out, which is going to increase the damage and the damage dealt and damage received. So a little risky, high risk, high reward sort of item. And then he has Delta Straps with the magazine extension, but we're going to give him better Delta Straps for an additional little health boost. So that's going to be pretty much it for our Mad Dog Sniper. And then that's it. We look at our Cover of Darkness. We have a legendary item if we complete the optional objective, which is kill 8 or more enemies at a single turn. And like I said in the last video, when we see that, we know we're going to be facing either a lot of wretches or a lot of tickers right off the bat. So I'm happy that we have our grenade happy scout with us. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's take a look. We've got to fight through some enemies before we run into our Kantus friend, but he will be there nonetheless. So as we go into this, we're going to actually be facing 2 groups of wretches and I believe 4 drones in the first half of the map. And the wretches is where we're going to want to complete our optional objective of kill 8 or more enemies on the turn. So right up in this area, there's going to be one cluster and then another cluster in the second area that I circled with my cursor there. And instead of advancing, I'm actually going to just keep all of my units back here and let the wretches come to us. I don't know exactly where they are. You can see some of them just popped up as I cleared some of the fog of war as I moved my units around. But I don't know where they are all at, and I don't want to risk putting my units somewhere where they're going to get hit by the wretches. So we'll burn a turn there. And we're going to wait and see what the wretches do. Again, I say it every time we deal with wretches, their AI is very predictable. Since they're a melee-only unit, the AI is just going to advance them to my units as in the most direct route possible, which usually leads to them being clustered together. So we're going to take advantage of that and sort of bottleneck them as they come around this corner. So we're going to use 1 grenade from Sid to take out 3 of these wretches and damage a 4th. And we're just going to basically spend this turn wiping out wretches to make sure that we secure that optional objective and get that legendary mod when we complete the mission. So next we're going to move up our scout Marcella and use her improved grenade ability to take out 4 wretches and damage a 5th. So now we just need to kill 1 more enemy this turn and we're golden. And we got plenty of units to do that. So we're going to move up Mr. Edward Sparky Mai and use his grenade to take out... We're going to try to land it right on that barrier's edge and take out these 2 furthest wretches. And that leaves this one slightly damaged wretch, and he's in a very good position to take him out. So we're just going to use our Lancer to clean him up. And there we go. Mission complete. Side objective complete. We killed, I think, 9 or 10 enemies in that turn. And now it's just a matter of moving up Mad Dog and ending our turn. We haven't uncovered any of the drones yet, so nothing to do there. And we can see we have 1 equipment case directly ahead of us, so we're going to make sure we grab that. But nothing much to say about this section. Once you take out all of those wretches and you've secured your bonus, your optional objective, it's just taking out these drones any way you see fit. Again, we have a sniper with us, which is going to be helpful. We have a scout who can go invisible, and we can advance her up into the enemy lines a bit to cause some chaos. But again, there's not much to say as far as new information in this area. One thing I will say is that there is, even though there's a lot of cover, it's not set up in a way that's very conducive to advancing to where the drones are now. As the drones use their turns and move around a little bit, they're going to come down to the left or the west side of the screen. Again, if you hear me say things like east and west, you always can assume that the top of the screen is going to be north and the bottom is south, just to help with the orientation and the compass points. So you can see they kind of came south and west from where they were. My scout is in a great position right now, so we're going to use our proximity mine and kind of try to hit both of these drones together with that 1 proximity mine. Unfortunately, this is going to uncloak us, but that's okay. We have 2 turns or 2 action points left, so we're going to surprise this drone who's an Overwatch with a shotgun to the back, and it was a crit hit, so he's down. His Overwatch is disrupted. Now I could try and execute that drone, but I'm afraid that it's going to leave me too exposed. So instead, I'm going to book it to some cover. I thought I was taking cover when I move here, but I actually end up just standing out in the open like a fool. So you'll see she hops over the cover and just kind of stands there like, yep, come shoot me. But that's okay. We've still got 3 units with 3 turns each to take out 2 drones. So we're going to move. You can see I'm trying to use my grenade to activate that proximity mine, but I couldn't get it quite close enough. And again, a nice trick you can use once you have the proximity mine skill available is that you can toss a proximity mine and then throw a grenade on top of it, and you'll actually get 2 explosions to damage whatever enemy is in the vicinity. Unfortunately, it doesn't work right here. The grenade goes off right next to the proximity mine, and the proximity mine doesn't detonate. But you know what? That's okay, because we'll have a plan B. Our plan B is try to snipe this drone. Unfortunately, plan B fails. So we're going to go with plan C, which is have Edward Sparky Mai execute the downed drone to make Sid have 4 action points. And then we're going to use Sid's retro bayonet charge to take this overwatching drone off the map and clear out the first half of the map for us. So there we go. Mr. Sparky just took out that down drone. We see Sid now has 4 action points, so we're going to use a couple of action points to very carefully advance up this side and avoid that overwatch cone. Then we'll use 1 more point to make sure we have a nice clear line of sight on the drone, and then boom, here we go with the retro charge, taking that drone off the map and clearing the first half of the map for us. So now all we have to do is get to the bridge. You can see we still need to grab this case, so I'm going to have Sid come down here, grab the case, and then we've got a few action points for everyone to use, so we're just going to advance them up towards the bridge. No other enemies will come in right here. I think, I've never tested it, but I think it's kind of the same as a incursion side mission, where if you don't raise that bridge within a few turns, then you'll have a Reaver drop off reinforcements. So you can spend 1 turn, you can push your luck, maybe spend 2 trying to let your grenades and your abilities recharge, but I recommend raising the bridge, you know, very, very quickly, because on Insane you don't want to have to deal with any more enemies than you absolutely have to. So you can see I advanced everybody. I actually did waste a turn not raising the bridge, just to give everything a chance to cool down by another turn. But now we're going to have Sid raise this bridge up so we can advance on to the second part of the mission and kind of tackle, or get introduced to and then tackle the Kantus. Unfortunately, this isn't a skippable cutscene, because I think the map, as the map manipulates the game, needs time to process and load everything in. And it doesn't seem like much, but boy, it gets annoying after, you know, the 10th or 12th time you've watched that. So here we go. It says defeat the enemy guards is our new objective. And once we end our turn, you can see right now I'm just looking to make sure I didn't miss any equipment cases back here. But once we end our turn, we're going to get introduced to the Kantus. And you'll get a chance to see what Kantus is all about on Insane. So we're going to be just looking around here real quick. We're looking to see where the additional loot or item crates are. Ammo crate? No, not ammo. Gear crates. That's what it was. We're looking where the salvage is. So we found that there's one up to the right there, and then I believe there's one straight ahead on the left. But now that we've located those, we know that we're going to want to pick those up. We're going to kind of position our units around this bridge, and there's 2 ways that you can go about doing this mission from this point on. You can either, A, like I said earlier, try to rush and take this Kantus out right away, but that puts you in a lot of risk, because you end up exposing yourself to a lot of fire. And on Insane, it does not take much to put yourself in a very precarious situation. So the way that we're going to handle this is that we're actually going to hang back a little bit. We're not going to advance very far past where we are right now until we thin these numbers out a little bit. The Kantus' Scream attack that buffs the enemy's defense, heals, and revives downed units is quite large, but it doesn't hit all the enemies. They've got to be close to him, and for whatever reason the AI does not like to keep the units close to the Kantus. It likes to run them up ahead. So we're going to take advantage of this and put our sniper on this high ground here. It's not much of high ground, but it gives us a little bit of elevation, and that elevation actually plays into the hit chance and the critical chance. So we're going to put a couple of units up there. I'm going to put my sniper, and I'm going to put my support unit up here. Both of these are decent. Obviously the sniper is good at very long range, but out of the remaining units that I have, the support is the best long range unit. So by putting him up there, it increases the damage output and potential of getting critical hits on these enemy units. So we're going to move our scout and our vanguard, which is Sid and Marcella, up to this half cover here. And ideally, we're not going to need to worry about them too much, because hopefully the sniper and the support are going to be able to take out most of the enemies as they approach. You can see right there the toughened status. The Kantus just did its scream attack, and we had 3 rifle drones and a ticker get the toughened status. And toughened gives them a 70% defense boost, so you're only doing 30% of your normal damage. And unfortunately, that rifle drone decided to go over and help his buddy up. A lot of times they won't do that. This time it decided to, but not a big deal, because when they revive the units, they don't gain full health. They actually only gain partial health back. So boom, there's a crit shot, and he's dead. And this is one of the reasons I love the sniper, is because, again, with the high ground, they get a pretty decent critical chance and a pretty decent accuracy chance. So 25% crit with a 95% hit chance is good. I will definitely take that all day long. So once we go through, we use up our action points with our sniper. I'm actually going to go ahead and move Marcella up. And again, her build is focused on grenades and grenade usage with that grenadier armor and her grenade skills. So we're going to be taking advantage of her grenades. So we're going to use one to take that overwatching rifle drone off the map. And now that leaves us one overwatching non-toughened rifle drone. And I'm not going to be able to do much against him because he's so far away. But I've got my support up here, and we're going to go ahead, use a couple of action points to put some damage on him, and then reload with our last turn so we can have a full clip for the start of our next turn. And then I'm going to overwatch with Sid right here, because I don't want that drone trying to advance. At least advance without being harassed a little bit. So here, you can see here, the toughened status is going to last 2 enemy turns, so the Kantus is usually the first one to move, and when he does his scream attack, the toughened enemies have toughened for that turn and the additional turn. So now on this next turn, you're going to see that they're going to lose toughened. The more I say that word toughened, the stranger it sounds. But I'm going to use a sniper again, go to work with him. Unfortunately, unlike Michaela, like I said earlier, he doesn't have chain shot or anything like that, so I can't boost up his action points, but we'll take advantage of what he does have for action points. And going back to what I was talking about, that toughened status effect, because the Kantus is so far back, once the drones or the allies have that toughened status, they try to charge up, and before they can really get to me, they are going to lose it, because it'll take about 2 turns for them to get within range, which is fine, because at that point they will lose their status, and we will be able to start going to work and do some real damage against them. So that's another advantage to sitting kind of farther back. You could almost sit further back on the bridge and not try to hold this high ground. I've done that before and used the bridge as an actual choke point. So what I would do in that case is I run ahead, I run ahead far enough to trigger the Kantus, and then I fall back all of my units so that all the enemy units have to come across that bridge that we raised and use that as a choke point so we can't get flanked. That's a very safe strategy. It's a little slower because it takes more enemy turns to get up to you to engage, but it's very safe, and sometimes playing on Insane, the safer strategy is the better strategy. So let's get back to what we were talking about here, what's going on in the actual gameplay. You could see that my overwatch was triggered by that drone that moved up. He didn't have toughened on, so he got 2 shots of overwatch from Sid, which actually downed him. Unfortunately, he was able to get a shot on Sid, which did some pretty good damage, but he was in cover, and he was only a partial hit, so we're okay with that. We're going to actually take this drone off the map using our our support unit, because I don't want to have another drone run up and revive him. That's just a bit of a pain in the butt, so we're going to take him off the map even though it burns through our AP. We used the bullseye skill on the previous turn, which gives you a 100%, the next time you hit an enemy with the shoot ability, it gives you a 100% crit chance. So I missed there, and then I hit a critical, and you could see with that toughened status, I didn't even get him down to half health. So that just goes to show how annoying that toughened status is from the Kantus. But again, they're pretty far out. I'm using the sniper, and it's the sniper can put a lot of damage on them, but we need to wait until that toughened status effect wears off. I know I only had a 19% chance to hit there, but I couldn't do anything else with Sid. So I decided to go for it, hoping to get lucky, and unfortunately he missed. So I'm going to set up for my next turn here. I'm anticipating that the tickers and the drones are going to advance, probably the drones down the right side or the east side of the map, and the tickers down the west side. You can see the drone did decide to advance down the east. He moved a lot further than I had anticipated he would, and he actually ended up overwatching my 2 units on the high ground, which is not great. He could have definitely shot and by all rights ended the run right there, but thankfully he decided to just overwatch, and that means that I can put Sid over here to use his grenade and knock the overwatch out of effect. And you can see, again, even using a grenade with toughened on, still hardly any damage. It did about 200 damage. But thankfully, toughened does not prevent them from being one-shotted by the Lancer or the Retro Lancer. And that's something else that you can keep in mind, is that if you have a lone enemy that is toughened by a Kantus and you can get a support or a Vanguard to charge up and either Lancer or Retro Lancer the enemy, by all means do it if you can stay safe, because it does take those enemies off the map, and no amount of toughened status is going to prevent a chainsaw from cutting you in half. So, we're anticipating that those tickers are going to advance down the west side of the map, so I use Marcella's proximity mine ability to set a little trap for our ticker friend when he decides to advance. And you can see again, we've got the Kantus. There's 2 units back there with that Kantus. It was a ticker and a rifle drone, and he toughened both of them again. So you can see that Kantus doesn't really like to advance, at least in this mission. I have had instances where they will push and be fairly aggressive, but on this mission that Kantus is almost always very docile and tries to just sit back there and play the support role. Thankfully, we know this ticker here, he lost his toughened status effect, so we can go to work on him using our snub. Boom, he's off the map. So that leaves us with 3 enemies right now, the Kantus, the rifle drone, and the ticker. Now, tickers have a very small health pool compared to a lot of the other enemies. The only other one that's really comparable is the Wretch, and the nice thing about that is that their health pool is so low that even when they're toughened, you still have a pretty good chance of taking them off the map using conventional means. You don't have to necessarily wait until the toughened status wears out. So what we're going to do right here is I don't really want to risk advancing that ticker by shooting at it. So I'm just going to overwatch, let the ticker do its own thing, kind of figure out where it wants to go. It's trying to go down that left path again, so it's got toughened for 1 more turn. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set up a bunch of overwatch shots. And by a bunch, I do mean a bunch. Everyone's going to overwatch. I'm going to end up with 3 units overwatching the same area. And what I'm actually trying to do is I'm positioning my unit further up and on the right there, that support character. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to get the AI to pull the ticker to the right rather than advance down the left. My concern is that if Marcella misses the overwatch shot with her Nasher, which is very likely to happen because the Nasher is terribly inaccurate, then the ticker is going to be able to advance on Marcella far enough that it'll detonate and blow her up. So unfortunately, there we go. We saw that just happen. The first shot missed. She got blown up. Thankfully, she had a 40% damage reduction because she was in full cover. But she's down to 17 health. I'll say that again. 17 health. She started out with over 500, and that one ticker blast dropped her to 17 health with a 40% damage reduction. So, yeah, in short, don't mess around with tickers, guys. They have a very wide blast radius, and they do a lot of damage. But the end result is still a win for me. We are still on our feet. The run is still going. So overall, I say that's a net win. So now we're down to 2 enemy units remaining. We've got 1 rifle drone, we have 1 Kantus, and just like the Grenadiers, the Kantus have that reflex ability where if you get too close to them, they're going to attack even though it's not their turn. It's not a shotgun blast like the Grenadiers. They do a scream attack that knocks you back, and I think puts you in the dazed status. So you really can't use the retro charge or the chainsaw bayonet to take the Kantuses off the map. You've got to use grenades and shots and skills and stuff like that, because if you get too close, if you run up and try to execute them using the Retro Lancer or the Lancer, you're going to get screamed at, you're going to get dazed, it's just not good. So what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of slow playing this. I know that I say that a lot, but we're slow playing it. We're waiting to see where these enemy units go. That drone is, he just got 70% defense because the Kantus screamed again. He moved up, and it didn't really put me in a good position, but I realized that the drone's not overwatching right now, so I'm going to take advantage of that and use Sid's retro charge. And like I said, we saw the Lancer take a toughened enemy out. Now we're going to see a retro Lancer take a toughened enemy out. One shot and one retro charge, and that enemy's off the board. I'm going to fall Sid back here just in case that Kantus decides to get, you know, a hero complex and charge Sid. So I'm going to hide him back here. I know that there's just this building between me and the Kantus, and I know the Kantus has a fairly limited movement range, so I feel safe knowing that my 3 units will be right here, and on the next turn I can advance them up that ladder and start doing work on the Kantus. Meanwhile, I got my support over here on the west side of the map. He's going to come up here, and I was going to have him grab that salvage crate, but I decided instead I'm going to have him shoot at the Kantus, and the reason I do this is because if I grabbed the case on that turn, it would have been my third AP, and left me just standing out there without any cover. So I wanted to make sure that I was in cover because those Kantus Gorgon pistols actually do quite a bit of damage for just being a pistol. I know it's a machine gun pistol, but still, it's a pistol. And they do a lot of damage and are fairly accurate. So I try to avoid leaving myself in the open, even from a support unit like the Kantus. So again, we're not in any rush. We're about 2/3 of the way through this mission, maybe 3/4. We've just got to take out this Kantus, then blow up the emulsion stockpile, and then we have a few reinforcements to deal with before we get to the extraction zone. So, like I said, you can see that red ring around the Kantus. That's his area of effect attack, and that's the ring you cannot go into. So I didn't really have a good angle on trying to get a shot on this Kantus, so I'm just going to run a couple of units up here and use their frag grenade ability to take him out of commission. The first one did quite a bit of damage, but not enough to put him down for good, so we're going to get Sid going here. We'll toss Sid's grenade right over the ledge, want to land it on that platform. Make sure in situations like this that you pay very close attention to where the grenade reticle lands, because it's very easy to overthrow or overshoot where you're trying to hit with your grenade, and all of a sudden, you know, it falls down the steps and you don't have any damage on the enemy you're trying to blow up. But anyway, the Kantus is off the map, the emulsion stockpile is destroyed, everything's looking good. Now all we gotta do is get to the extraction zone, which is right there. Now, unfortunately, we do get some reinforcements. There's wretches, tickers, and another Kantus to deal with. So what I normally do at this point is I actually advance my units up to this building anyway. My sniper goes to the right side, and then I just use my other units to kind of overwatch the... I believe there's 2 openings in this wall. One is an actual opening, one's a broken wall that the units can advance through. And from the high ground, I just try to overwatch and use frag grenades to take out the wretches and the tickers as best I can. So you can see right there, there's one big opening on the left and then a break in the wall the enemies can advance through on the right. Most of the time, the enemies don't advance all the way around the right side of the building to flank you, because again, we're dealing with tickers and we're dealing with wretches, and the AI for them says, hey, the enemy, or my units, are here, you're here, make a straight line for them because that's the shortest distance. So works for me. I mean, it makes it easy to predict where these guys are going to go and where to set up my overwatch shots. And unlike the last time when we were dealing with the Kantus, right now I've got the high ground and the Kantus is exposed. So you can see I'm trying to take out this Kantus, and I don't think I've mentioned this before, but if you take out the Kantus and it is toughened units with its ability, what happens is the units lose their toughened ability. So even if they, like if I take that Kantus off the map right now, all the wretches that he screamed at and toughened are going to go back to normal. So you really do want to try to prioritize these Kantuses if you can. You're going to see toughened lost on all of those units, which means they just lost their 70% defense buff, which makes things much easier to deal with. So it's definitely worth. You saw that I used up my I used my empower skill for my support unit to maximize the sniper's AP at the time, and it worked out well. So we got the Kantus off the board. I'm going to use my proximity mine ability with Marcella again to take out as many of those wretches as we can. I could have used the frag grenade, but I want to save that just in case there is an emergency situation. And I know that as soon as one of those wretches move, boom, all 3 of them are gone. So that's good. It leaves me with, I believe, 3 tickers and a wretch to deal with. And again, with the Kantus off the board, none of them will be able to regenerate health, and none of them are going to have the toughened status effect. So it's just a matter of dealing with these few enemies and then making a beeline for that extraction circle. So I move Sid over. We're going to take that wretch off the board because he will go up the ladder and try to take out the sniper. Again, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that wretch sees that ladder as a straight line to my units. So we took him off the board, and now we're going to go to work with the sniper, trying to hit these tickers and take them off the board, but unfortunately 78% hit chance just isn't good enough. So we took our shot, we missed, but now we got a 90% hit chance. It does hit, but doesn't kill the ticker, so this guy's covering some ground. Not that I'm overly worried, because unlike the wretches who have, you know, arms and can climb, the tickers aren't able to go up ladders, so they have to scurry all the way around to try to get to me, which means going all the way back to where the emulsion tank was and then going up those stairs. So they still had quite a ways to go before there were any real threat, but still, it always makes you a little nervous when you see tickers advancing on you like that. So what you see me doing right now with my support is that I know that there's another ticker up there. I think it's to the top left of the screen, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to advance my support unit in a very, very cautious way and actually go around the right side of this building. The other 3 units are up high. They can't really get blown up by that ticker, but I didn't want to risk advancing the support unit and having the tickers close in on me and, you know, blow me up, because, well, that wouldn't be good. So here we go. We found our last ticker. The sniper hit him, took him out with 1 shot. Well, he missed the first shot, took him out with the 2nd shot. And you saw that little notice pop up that, hey, battlefield's clear, no more enemies detected. So now we're just going to burn through all of our AP to advance our units as far as we can, as fast as we can. Because like with every mission, if you take too long to get to the extraction zone, you will have additional reinforcements drop in via Reaver. And we really don't want that. I mean, it wouldn't be anything that we couldn't handle, but right now, we're just trying to get out of here because we've got Marcelo, who is severely injured, and just, you know, it's time. We want to wrap this up and get this mission put in the books. So, you can see I'm trying to figure out a way. I couldn't quite make it to that extraction circle with Sid, so I'm trying to use that slide into cover trick to gain just a little bit more distance by saying, okay, how far can I absolutely stretch this, this move? And how close can it get me to the extraction zone? So you can see when I just ran him all the way up there, he couldn't make it. Now his circle is a little bit in the extraction ring, and that's good enough to count. So Marcella's going to make it. My sniper, Mad Dog, he's in the exact same boat, where he's not quite going to make it if I just run him straight to the extraction zone. So I'm going to use that slide into cover feature. And again, his blue indicator ring just barely touches that extraction zone circle, but it's good enough to count. So there we go, guys. That gets us through this mission. 2 4s in the books. We're going to look. We got the legendary digital scope for the Retro Lancer, which is 150% crit damage, which is just like perfect. That is an awesome get for the Retro Lancer. Very excited about that. So we're going to pop open these cases that we got, see what we got, and that is going to wrap up the video. You can see we did get a promotion for both Sid and Marcelo, which is excellent. Very helpful. We got 4 rare cases to open, and that's going to do it, guys. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Twitch at Hammer Bros Gaming. I am Blades of God, and until next time, have a great day, everyone.